How you doing, folks? So recently there has been some news about the Final Fantasy XV's release date being delayed, and I'm just gonna give my thoughts on that, just initial impressions, I guess, off the cuffs, pretty much, and I will also talk a little bit about some other Final Fantasy XV news, like the DLC and maybe some other things. But as far as my thoughts are on the delay, I think that it seems like they know what's best for their game, and that this is a good decision for improving it. The reasons for why a game would be delayed is if either the team working on it, they aren't working productively or efficiently, or if there are too many technical difficulties. And I think that from what they've been saying and from what we've seen, it looks like it's just technical stuff that it's not like there's technical problems with it, but they're just trying to make it more cohesive and polishing off the game to just improve the quality overall. And video games, they're one of those things that certainly shouldn't be rushed, because a rushed job can really show through, and those mistakes can be transparent when you're playing the game, like technical issues and glitches and bugs, or the gameplay feels really uninspired. So it looks like at this stage in development for the game that the more time they spend with it, the better it's gonna be. Or at least I hope that will be the case. But that seems like what is most likely here. It did cross my mind that this new release date, November 29th, may have been the planned release date all along, and that they're not as far along in development as they say they are. So then they announced the September 30th release date just to appease the fans and make the release seem a little more imminent. But 2 months difference for the release doesn't seem significant enough to warrant having a placeholder release date in the first place. And they also have the English master version of the game playable at Gamescom, so that shows their progress. So with that progress, since they've got the game pretty much completed, well, they've got it completed as a whole, and now they're just, like they've been saying, they're just polishing things. They'll have more time to debug the technical stuff, get rid of those glitches, and also get more testers to play the game, and that of course leads to the gameplay being more refined, which is great. And I also really respect them integrating the Day 1 patch that they had planned. I don't know if that Day 1 patch that they were talking about has been created already, but they are going to be putting that planned patch that they had onto the disc that they're going to release on November 29th. And I really respect that, because like they were saying, not everyone is going to be connecting to the internet when they first boot up the game, and also downloading a patch, sometimes I don't remember if you have to wait for that to download. That's a pain in the rear, because I just want to play the game right away. And also, like, in the future, like 100 years in the future, PlayStation Network, that might not exist, or it might not, and it probably won't be supporting the PlayStation 4 anymore. So if you were to put a new Final Fantasy XV disc into a PlayStation 4 100 years in the future, then you wouldn't have access to that Day 1 patch, and you might be playing an inferior game. So I really respect that that they're holding out on the game a little longer to give it some longevity. So as far as how this new release date, November 29th, compares to September 30th in terms of, market competition, well, the good thing about the new release date is that it's a little more close to the holidays, so they'll get a little bit of that. I guess kind of the downside is that historically, November and December, that has been the time that the other big AAA games release, and I don't think it really seems that way this year in particular. Like, a lot of the big, highly anticipated AAA games have already been released, but maybe there's some stuff, I haven't looked into it, but historically they would be competing with those other AAA games at that time of year. However, I do think that Final Fantasy XV's premise and marketing definitely could compete for the sales numbers with those other AAA games. Another kind of strange occurrence is that the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD Remix will be releasing soon after the release of Final Fantasy XV's release date, and I do believe that Final Fantasy XV's release will probably eat into the sales of Kingdom Hearts 2.8 a little bit, and since they're published by the same company, and they're both action JRPGs, and I believe they have a lot of the same audience, that's why that will happen. I think that it's good that the development team over on Final Fantasy XV is self-aware enough to know that the potential of the game that they're making, by allowing themselves this time, and that these executives over at Square Enix were cool enough to allow this. So DLC, the DLC that the development team on 15 has been talking about is making playable episodes for different characters, and I actually had that idea, and I said it before. Just for the record, by the way, I did say this before they announced this on a podcast by the Final Fantasy community, and I had a great time on that podcast, but it was taken down from their channel, so I don't know where I can listen to that now. I don't know why it was taken down, but hopefully they'll put it back up. It was episode 3 of the Materia cast, and I was a guest on that, and that was what I suggested as potential DLC. One of the suggestions that I had was like playable missions, side missions that were downloadable content with a different playable character besides Noctis. Because then that would be something that wouldn't warrant being in the main game, and the gameplay would be a variation on what you would get in the main game, and same with the story, but it would also be something that was removed enough and a little different enough from the main game that it wouldn't seem like it was cut out from it or needed to be in it. So that sounds like a good plan and a good idea for DLC on this game. Now, I probably won't be doing much coverage or discussion of Final Fantasy XV until its release, because I'm keeping a low profile on the news. I'm really trying to kind of avoid that, just to avoid some potential leaked spoilers. Like, I've already I think I've been spoiled already on a minor thing, which might be a reveal. But I kind of wish I hadn't. I do wish that I hadn't seen that. But I'm not completely sure if that's true either. But yeah, I'm gonna try and stay away from that. And I mean, unless if something pops up on like IGN, then it's big enough news that I should be aware of it. Like this delay, that's kind of how I found out about it. But I will do something for Kingsglaive. I will discuss that or cover that in some way. But the game looks like it's shaping up pretty well. And I'm still excited about its release. And I'm really curious about seeing how it turns out. And, you know, I'm hoping that it'll be a great game and it'll be really entertaining and fun. So that's all that I've got. Those are all my thoughts on this news. So thanks for listening. And I've got a couple other Final Fantasy XV things that I've done, like I did an analysis and review of the gameplay and footage of Final Fantasy XV shown at E3 2016. So if that sounds interesting, then be sure to check that out. So there you have it.